Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing well today. In this lesson, I'm going to show you one of the coolest, funkiest bass techniques that exists. It's the ghost note. I've got 5 bass lines to show you, including quite a cool slap line, so stick around for that. Let's start off with this first one, and I'll actually introduce the actual technique itself. Let me play it first. This is in the style of Jaco Pastorius, who used this all the time, especially in conjunction with 16th notes. And ghost notes just add a bit of percussion into your playing, a bit of funk. So let's just talk about the technique first before we dive into the exact lines. You have to be a bit careful when you play a ghost note, and all that is, by the way, is just when you get usually more than one finger of your fretting hand touching the strings lightly so that you get this sound. You have to be a bit careful because let's say you're just around the 7th fret and you're directly over it. If you're just using one finger, you could catch a harmonic like that. So what I do is just bring the other fingers quite straight and just touch all the strings so they're all completely muted and you get that sound. So here's the line. We've got a hammer on first from D to E, frets 5 to 7 on the A string. So I've got my 3rd finger quite curled about an inch above the E on the 7th fret and just come down quite fast. You get the hammer on. Then 2 more plucks. I'm going index and then middle index. And then here we have the ghost note, and you really have to time it. And as ever, you slow right down. So I will only get that perfect ghost note if I really work on muting all those strings, like I say, not just that one. And it's just a case of timing it. So it's 2 ghost notes, 2 E's. Once you get it up to speed, it sounds really good. Let's move on to a line in the style of another great of the bass, sadly no longer with us, Francis Rocco Pastorius of Tower of Power fame. He used ghost notes all the time. I'll put a little playlist down below, well, a link to a playlist as well, where you can hear some of these. There is actually one more tune that you have to listen to, Feel the Real by David Bendeth. I apologise, but someone did a while ago ask me to cover that tune, and I'd never heard it before. That's an absolutely brilliant example of amazing ghost notes, so check that one out. This is how this one goes. So we've got 2 lines that are exactly the same, we're just moving them. Start on the E again. That's the rhythm, da da da. 8th note, 2/16. And really at this point it's just concentrating on getting it really, really clean. Then we've got, that's like the inverse of that rhythm, 2/16 followed by an 8th. 2 Ds, 1 D sharp. That's the second half of the bar. Whole thing. And I'm using my 3rd, 1st and 2nd fingers. You could use your little finger there at the end. That allows you to have your 2nd finger, the longer one, just touching that E as well, muting that as well. And then you just move everything, shift everything quite quickly down to the C sharp, 4th fret of the A string. And then it's just a question of shifting back and forth quite quickly. Once you're comfortable with that, get a metronome going. It's actually quite good to even get one on beats 2 and 4, so you can have it 1, 2, 3, 4, dun, dicka, dicka, dun, dicka, dicka, dun, dun. And you're always subdividing the beat. In this case, everything is 16th notes in this lesson. So you're just tapping your foot and feeling 4 every time, every beat. Ticka, 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 ticka. This is a very good example of how you can use ghost notes to shift. So we've got D to E on the 7th to 9th frets of the G string with a hammer on again. And then 2 more ghost notes. Now we've got raking. Raking is where you get one finger and just drag it across all the strings from a high-pitched one to a low-pitched one. In that direction. It means you don't have to alternately pluck. You can just rake like this. If you watch the fingering pattern very carefully, I'm going index, index, middle. And then I'm using index, index, index 3 times. And all of those ghost notes give me a chance, some time to move, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter where you're playing, where you're muting the strings, it's still going to make a ghost note. They will sound slightly different, but it doesn't really matter. It sounds pretty cool wherever you do it. That's really slow. Another thing here, I'm hammering on with my little finger this time. You can use your third as well. But the timing on this has got to be really good. I'm really kind of firing that hammer on down. I've got a 1978 Music Man Stingray here. It's got this humbucker which is quite punchy. I've got the bass almost all up, and on the 2-band EQ here I've got the treble kind of down. Personally, with this, I'm looking for quite a dull, thunky sound, so that's why I've got the treble rolled down. On this bass, I'm naturally plucking towards the bridge anyway, but if you have a 2-pickup Fender Jazz or Jazz style bass, add a little bit of bass on your amp, or, if you're recording on your software, maybe you've got active bass, a little bit of bass there, and if you solo the back pickup, you'll get a little bit more punch. That's certainly what Jaco Pastorius did. Other players, go for that sound via different combinations of hand placements and strings, so you can experiment with that. Ghost notes work incredibly well in slap bass lines as well. Now this is the kind of style of slap bass line where we've got 16th notes and it's like tick, 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 it's that again. There's a lot of kind of down-up motion with the slapping hand. I'm going to do a slap bass lesson soon, actually. Do comment if you want me to do that. We've got another hammer on, followed by a ghost note. Everything's kind of in the same key here. So it's that D to E, fret 5 to 7 of the A string, hammer on again. That's with a slap. Timing again, because you've got to release. I'm pushing up the first finger onto the underside of this E to mute that, okay? This hand is a bit too busy to do any muting, so that's why I'm doing that there. Just take it beat by beat. I'm just using my little finger to play the D on the 7th fret of the G string. Use your third finger if you want. Then we've got 2 more ghost notes, and it's really that thing of fretting and not fretting. The touch that you need for fretting and the touch that you need for muting is different. And that's what you need to practice, just to get the transition between those two bang on. Now there, when I'm doing those 2 ghost notes there, on beat 2, that's where I'm shifting. And then, so that's D to E again, G string. Then we've got a slap onto the A and B of the 7th to 9th frets of the D string. And it's that same rhythmic figure as the first beat. So hammer on with a slap, another ghost note. That's beat 1. You could take a rhythmic figure like that and just work it around I'm just playing a very bog standard E minor pentatonic scale there. Ghost notes, they sound really good with all of that combination of notes. Where are we? The fourth and final beat of this line is the same. Same rhythm where we have two ghosts and finally a hammer on. Very slowly, whole thing. At the end there's a bit of a big shift to get back down to that D on the 5th fret of the A string. So as I'm hammering onto that E, that first finger is just flying back. So once you get that idea, like I say, make this your own, make stuff up. I'm adding in a bit of Dorian there. This would sound really good with a drum beat, so practice with one of those two. We'll end with a Bernard Edwards style line over 3 chords, G minor, A minor, D minor. Exactly the same figure and technique, just moving it around. The ghost notes will help us do the shift. There's a backing track with this one too that you can get for free. Follow that link. So here it is. So a very short staccato G. So as I pluck it, I release pressure to get that really, really short. So you've got a little bit of time. Lots of hammer-ons here. There's another one here, F to G, 3rd fret to 5th fret of the D string. And there's that timing thing again. Hammer on, release, you get the ghost notes, 2 of them. Another hammer on from 3 to 5 on the A string, that's notes C to D, to the F, 3rd fret of the D string. And 2 more ghost notes. Now watch when I transition from the G minor to the A minor. You can just do the ghost note anywhere. Went too far there actually. That's exactly the same notes, intervals, pattern, everything. Now, especially there, you have to go from fret 5, that's the A, to fret 10 of the E string, that's the D. And those 2 ghost notes give you enough time to do it. And equally, to get back down to the 3rd fret again, the G from here. Just slow it down, like this slow. It's all coordination, accuracy, and you'll get that when you slow it down, practice it every day, and you'll get it. I'm just going to play to the backing track, because I'll do a couple of fills as well. Yeah, so this is in the key of D minor. And all of that is D minor pentatonic, which really falls under the fingers very naturally. So frets 10 to 12 of the G, D and A strings, those notes work. And then if you shift down to frets 8 to 10 on the A and the E, that also works. So that's great for hammer-on stuff, plus ghost note. Pull-offs. And just ghost notes randomly everywhere sound really good. You need to be tapping your foot, you need to be very aware of 16th notes, and then you need to have hammer-ons down and just the grasp of that ghost note. Lots of quite advanced stuff there, I would say, but nothing that you can't do with a little bit of practice. So just download all of those bass lines by following that link below, plus that backing track. Build up to the backing track, take everything slow as ever. And if you like that sort of style of funky stuff, I have a funk bass course. I'll put a link to that below as well. And if you like funk, you'll also like this video here. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.